by Hindus. And of course, as Christians, we enjoy that holiday at home. Of course, we prepare some Indian traditional food with sweets and eat and distribute with others. And then we play with the crackers. We use lots of
Oh,
crackers.
so crackers, eh?
Yes.
What do you mean by crackers? Like
Crackers,
sweets?
crackers are something which we use to burn, like it
Ah,
gives
like
light,
firecrackers.
firecrackers, you say?
They go.
Yes.
Ah, okay. Or fireworks as well. Ah, okay. Yeah, it's a very famous, quite a famous festival, isn't it, Diwali? Am I saying it right?
Yes, it is for a group of Hindus. It is really famous. That way in North India.
But
And
even outside, Sophia, even outside of India, I think, even in the UK, people, they know about it.
yes,
And so
yes. Now it is national holiday, national festival. It has become these days. Actually, recently,
Okay.
the trend has changed. Like everyone started celebrating.
Okay, well, I think it's because you see, as an English person, I see some very interesting pictures on social media of celebrations, and it looks really nice. Okay, right, guys. I'm going to get cracking with this class. You can all see on the screen what we're going to try and do today. So, can you all just put your microphones on and say, "Yes, I'm ready," something like that.
Yes.
I know Sophia's there. Shanika, John, Andrea, Joyce, are you guys all ready?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. I think I heard everyone's voice there. Okay, great. So this is a listening class today. It's going to be 1 hour, well, just under 1 hour. And we're going to try and do these things. We're going to try and just quickly review IELTS listening, just as a warm-up, basically. Then as another warm-up, I want us to, what are we going to practice, Joyce? Joyce, what are we going to practice? You can see it on the screen there. What is that? Part 2. What do I mean? You there, Joyce? No? Sophia, could you help us out? Because Joyce isn't here.
Part 2 speaking.
Part 2 of the speaking. Good. Then we're going to review this concept of distractors. Okay. So again, I'm going to be asking you guys questions. John, do you remember distractors?
Yeah.
Okay. Just quickly, what is it?
Too much word with same meanings.
Yeah, that's one of them. You called it a word salad last time. I like that. Yeah. Ways that the IELTS are going to try and trick you. Okay. Then we're going to look at a part 3. And we're going to try to identify distractors and also do the test. Okay, so this class today is kind of like a mix. It's got hopefully there'll be lots of practice for you in the class. Okay, but the main focus of what we're trying to do is just to practice identifying distractors. And, you know, I just think that helps you guys to prepare for the exam, right? A distractor is something that tricks you, right? It makes you answer the wrong answer on the test. So hopefully today you'll get some more practice, kind of like not only doing the test, but seeing exactly how they're trying to trick you. Maybe trick is a bit too strong a word, okay? They're trying to make it difficult. So that's what we're going to do. I want to do this quickly because I think you guys all know this. Now, Shahani, how many questions are there in the IELTS listening exam?
40.
40, good. And how much time is there? Can anyone tell me approximately how much time? Maybe John or Ian? Sorry, Ian, could you tell me how much time it is? Do you know?
30 minutes, sir.
Yeah, it's around 30 minutes. Let's ask someone like Sophia just to confirm that. Is it 30 minutes exactly, Sophia?
Not exactly, but definitely it will be about 30 minutes, 35.
Oh, 30, 35, something like that. Now, obviously, it changes each time a little bit, okay? Because the audio, it's very difficult to make an audio exactly the same length each time, right? So it's approximately 30, 35 minutes. All right, now this is very, very important. And I'm going to ask this question to, who can I ask here? Shanika, how much time do you have before the audio starts in each section? Do you know?
5 minutes.
It's not 5 minutes. Well, you get 10 minutes, don't you, for something? What do we get 10 minutes, guys, for?
10 minutes to transfer the answers
Answers.
at the last.
After that.
Sheet at the end. That's at the end.
At the end.
Now, who can help me with this? Before the audio starts, they give you a small amount of seconds to quickly read ahead. Can anyone tell me how much time is that?
Half a
1
minute.
minute or 2 minutes, I think.
Half a minute.
I'm not very sure.
I think it's about 30 seconds.
3 seconds.
I don't think it's 2 minutes, Sophia.
30 seconds.
I think it's about 30 seconds. All right. Again, I think that's probably an approximate amount because again, these things can change by a few seconds, I suppose.
And
I'm
that
not sure, but anyway.
changed for each section differently. It is different for third.
Oh, is it?
Yes, I'm not very sure, but I think like that only, sir. Even in the recent
Well-
section 2, it takes a little more, 1 or 2 or 5 seconds or 10 seconds extra.
Okay, well, we'll come to this in a second. We'll come back to this then as we're practicing. I think it's around this, but the main thing here, and we'll come back to this, is that during this time, it's very, very important that you read ahead and you think about what is coming, and you'll see that when we practice. I'm sure all of you know that already. Read ahead in this time and think about what's coming. Now, there are 4 sections in the IELTS listening exam, and last class we reviewed them. And I showed you this document. This class, I'm going to stop talking and I just want you to read this and fill in the blanks. Okay? So in the test, there are 4 sections. Here they are. What are the missing words? I'm just trying to get you guys to remember these important things. So I'll give you about two minutes, maybe less. Just tell me when you've finished, okay? So read these sections now and guess the missing words. Off you go. When you finish, you can just type in the chat box, finished. Just to be clear, I don't know if this is that clear, this document. This is one word, right? So you get the start. Oops, no. Like this, okay? Just in case that's a bit
Announcement.
tricky. Yeah, good. So let's just let everyone think about this and type in when they're finished. Okay, Joyce, sorry, just got your message about your cell phone. No worries. You're welcome to come in on the cell phone as well, Joyce, so don't worry about that. It's completely fine. Yeah, I'm going to wait here, guys. I'll put my camera off. Just tell me when you're finished, all right? I want everyone to think about this now, all right? Okay, Shahani's done, which is good. Okay, Sophia's also finished. I'll give the rest of you just a little bit more time and we'll get cracking. It's worthwhile learning this. Okay. You should be able to guess these words if you know what's coming in section 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. I'm going to get started because I want to get through a few things today. So now, Sophia, you already told us the answer for number 1. What is it?
Announcements.
Good. And how do you spell that?
ANNOUCEMENT.
Good. Announcement. Or making Can anyone? I'll go and change that. Change that in a second. Can anyone give me this one? Anyone know?
Booking.
It's a booking. Fantastic. Ian, what do you think this one is here?
Complete a
What do you complete, guys, in section 1? Sometimes you complete sentences.
Form.
You complete form, right? So, for example, Ian, that would be something like this.
Okay.
This is a form, isn't it? This is a form here. It's not like normal writing. It's a form. Okay, fantastic. One person usually about a John?
I'm still thinking non-actor.
This is really important, this.
Letter C.
Shahani, do you want to help?
Yeah. Non-academic subject.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, and the audio switches to John, you can tell me now. It's the same word.
I'm still confused.
Okay, well, it's an academic. Okay, what does academic mean? Can someone help me? Sophia, what does academic mean? Let me just change this.
Something related with or related to studies and subject.
Yes. All right. So, John, do you know this word here?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's very, very important, John, that you understand that in section 3, something academic is coming. In section 4, also, it's academic. Right? Whereas in section 2 and section 1, you won't get academic stuff. All right? So it's a good thing to know that you'll feel a bit more happy maybe when you're preparing. Okay? It will always be more than something person. Anyone?
One.
Come on, fantastic. Good. Normally an academic, and you will hear
Discussion. Lecture.
Yeah, something like that. You will hear one person, normally the lecturer. Okay, good. Thank you very much, guys. So this is just a quick review, isn't it? You get 4 sections in the test. It's important that 3 and 4 are academic. 1 and 2 is non-academic. Number 2 is usually filling in the blanks, filling in the form or something. Okay. Now today we're going to practice section 2, right? As I said at the start, we're going to do a warm-up practice part 2 here. Okay. So I've got that here. We're not going to do section 1 today. We're going to do section 2. All right. So can everyone see my screen all right?
Yes.
Can I have a yes for you guys? Yeah? Okay. Now here's where we've got to be ready. All right, so get ready, get a pen, get some paper, because we're going to do part 2 of the test. Note, look at what you can see here, guys, right? When you're ready, can you put your microphone on and say, I'm ready to go?
Ready to go.
Ready to go? Okay, cool. This is section 2. Can everyone hear that? All right? Yeah? Did you hear that audio?
No.
No, sir.
You didn't hear anything? Okay. Let me just try again then. Why is that not showing the sound? Let's try now.
You'll hear a tour guide giving a tour.
Yes.
Can everyone hear that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
So we're going to go through this now, and remember, you're going to have some time before it starts. Be thinking about what is coming next. look at the screen and try to think about the words, okay? Here we go.
Talk about a museum centre called Riverside Industrial Village. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 13.
Okay, so I'm looking here. Okay, looking here. Oh, okay, okay. Look at either side.
Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 13.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Riverside Industrial Village. To start your visit, I'm just going to give you a brief account of the history of the museum before letting you roam about on your own. I won't keep you long, okay? Now, from where we're standing, you've got a good view of the river over there. And it was because of this fast-flowing water that this site was a natural place for manufacturing works. The water and the availability of raw materials in the area like minerals and iron ore, and also the abundance of local fuels like coal and firewood, all made this site suitable for industry from a very early time. Water was the main source of power for the early industries, and some of the water wheels were first established in the 12th century, would you believe? At that time, local craftsmen first built an iron forge just behind the village here on the bend in the river. By the 17th and 18th centuries, the region's rivers supported more than 160 water mills, and many of these continued to operate well into the 19th century. But then the steam engine was invented. And then the railways came, and the centres of industry were able to move away from the rivers and the countryside and into the towns. So industrial villages like this one became very rare. So, that's the history for you. If you'd like any more information...
Okay, so let me get Sophia on the line. Sophia, are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
During that time, before we started, what were you thinking about in here?
This is such as minerals and iron ore.
What were you thinking about, though, before you heard the...
I thought some fuels such as, so I thought some raw materials I expected.
Materials, right? Exactly, which is exactly what you need to do, right? So Sophia, who's very experienced, who's done this before, was thinking materials. And I was also thinking, maybe materials, right? Let me get someone else. Shahani, what were you thinking? Not the answer, please, but what were you thinking was going in here?
Fossil.
I was thinking.
It's not materials, is it?
No, it's not materials.
Look at the pronoun who. What was it?
Like people or who were living there.
Peoples. Some kind of
Yeah.
people. Some kind of people, right? People who are living there, villagers, whatever. Okay. Now, Ian, there were over water-powered mills. What were you thinking?
Those the number of water power mills.
We've talked about this before in previous classes, right? That we need to sort of be looking at the gaps beforehand, trying to predict what's going to come, and then listen out for that. Okay, so this is just a warm-up, really. Sophia, one more time. What's the answer here? Fuels such as?
I think minerals and iron ore.
Minerals.
Coal and firewood.
Yeah, it was coal. And you can have firewood here if you want as well. Firewood. Let me just look at the answers quickly. 1 second. So we had coal or firewood, or we had, coal and firewood. So there was a bit of a distractor there, wasn't there, Sophia?
Okay.
Sophia? There was actually a distractor there, which we'll talk about in a second, because that's what we're going to look at today in this class. Something, when I say distractor, something fooled you, right? It's not that you're not a good listener, you are. Something tricked you. Yes? Sophia?
Okay.
Something did, and we'll find out what it is in a second, okay? The metal industry was established by Riverside Village by, can anyone tell me, by what?
Local crafts.
Local craftsmen,
Local.
good. Now, what about this one? What number did you hear here, guys?
160.
160.
Did everyone hear 160? Okay. All right. Now, let's think about what happened with this one here. Okay. I want us to listen to this again. Sophia, what did you think it was?
I heard minerals and iron ore.
No, but it's okay because she did say something about it, right? So it's a trick, and we have to. One of the ways to get better at IELTS listening is to kind of, you know, understand that they will try to trick you or they will try to make it more difficult. So let's listen again, guys, right? And let's see what was actually said specifically.
Actually, my mistake. There only I concentrated on the raw material, but it says about the fuels.
This could be a good idea. Let's have a listen.
The water and the availability.
Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 13.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Riverside Industrial Village. To start your visit, I'm just going to give you a brief account of the history of the museum before letting you roam about on your own. I won't keep you long, okay? Now, from where we're standing, you've got a good view of the river over there. And it was because of this fast-flowing water that this site was a natural place for manufacturing.
Okay, so guys, you should all be now thinking she just said river, didn't she? And then she said it was because of this fast-flowing water. So you kind of know that the answer is coming, right? You should all be thinking, oh, water, river. Okay, something's gonna come, okay? Now here's the answer again. Listen to it again.
Works. The water and the availability of raw materials in the area.
Sorry, one more time.
Okay? Now, from where we're standing, you've got a good view of the river over there.
River.
And it was because of this fast-flowing water that this site was a natural place for manufacturing works. The water and the availability of raw materials in the area like minerals and iron ore, and also the abundance of local...
What did she just say then? Like...
Raw materials like minerals.
She just said minerals and iron ore, didn't she? She did say it, Sophia. What's the What's the distractor here? Can anyone tell me? This is an easy example of a distractor. Why is the answer not minerals and iron ore? John, can you tell me? Why should I not put minerals and iron ore in here?
That is the example for raw materials.
Yeah, well, what's the difference between coal and iron ore?
It's a raw materials. It's not a fuel.
It's not a fuel. Good.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So this is an example. This is what I want us to review now. This is an example of a distractor, right? What they did is they gave you lots of synonyms for this. So Sophia, she heard water. She heard the words raw materials, okay? And then they put in a distractor, which is the wrong words. Two words, right, that could go in here. But if you miss the fact that this is fuels here, you put in the wrong thing, okay? This is what I'm talking about when I say distractor. In this case, they gave you the wrong words. They gave you too many words. Now, last class, it was a couple of weeks ago, but we did this, didn't we? We did distractors. And I want to go through this again, okay? One more time, guys. What is a distractor? Who's not done much speaking, who can just tell me this? Andrea, welcome to the class. Do you want to say hello?
Hello, thank you.
So you're new to this class, so don't worry if you're thinking, what's he talking about here? But you probably have a good chance. Could you give me a definition of a distractor? We just saw one. What does it mean?
Something that catches your attention from the real answer.
Okay, so you don't want catches from the real answer. Yes, but not catches. Something that your attention. I love that definition. That's really good. Not catches. What's that word, guys, where you look in the wrong direction?
Distract.
Yes, right? So a distractor, right? That's what we call it. Something that distracts your attention from the real answer. Now, last week, we went through some, we identified some, and we're going to do the same thing in this class today, all right? So I want to remind you of the distractors that we saw last week, okay? The first one we looked at is this. They use an unreal situation to try and confuse you, okay? So we had this example with Joyce. I don't know if Joyce remembers this. Joyce says, if I win the lottery, I would buy a house, right? And then if someone asks you the question, will Joyce buy a house? What's the answer? Anyone? If Joyce says this.
No.
No, she won't.
Yeah, only if she wins the lottery.
Yeah, if she won.
But she's probably not going to win the lottery, right? So the answer would be something like no or not sure.
Sound cinema.
Microphones off, please. That was quite loud. What do we call this? Paul was teaching it today. It's not conditionals. It begins with H.
Hypothetical.
Hypotheticals. Okay. So when you're listening, if someone starts talking like if this, you have to be really careful, right? Because it could be a distractor. Now, I think it was John who gave us word salad. Are you there, John?
Yes.
So here's the example, right? Dogs. Well, basically, you use lots of something that makes you think the opposite answer is true. What's the missing word here, John? Can anyone help him?
A lot of words. Yeah.
It's super. I'm making it super easy. So imagine this. You hear this in the audio. Dogs, cats, fish, elephant, monkeys are all animals that I know. But I don't like any of them. Okay? So they're giving you lots of words to try and trick you. Does the person like, John, does the person like animals? Does this person like animals, John?
Sorry.
The answer is no, isn't it?
No.
Quite obviously, he says, but I don't like any, okay? So we saw this last week. That's a kind of distractor. They'll give you loads of examples and you think, oh, he's talking about dogs. He's talking about cats. He's talking about fish. He must like animals. He doesn't like them because he says later. He says no, all right? What's the missing word here, guys?
Sport.
Yeah, so that would be sports, wouldn't it? But I changed the example. But it says lots of, let's say, animals here. Let's change this. And that the person does not like, right? We don't need this. Sorry, that shouldn't be there. Okay, so does he like animals? No. We also talked last week about synonyms, right? Synonym phrases. So let me just show you this. I'll move it to another part of this. Sorry. Oops. Let's have a look at this here. I help him painting the house. What does he help? What's the answer, guys? A or B?
Decorate.
It's decorating, but we were all confused last week, weren't we? Because decorating and painting the house, those are synonyms and phrases, and this is the hardest part of it. I don't even know if this is a distractor, right? It's just what's difficult. So uses phrases and words that are for non-natives to guess. What's the missing word, guys?
Difficult.
Yeah. right? So this is a type of distractor. This is the hardest one, I would say. Unhelpful information. Give lots of information that you don't. What's the missing word here, guys?
Need.
Need, right? So here's an example. What does Alan do on the weekend? Fishing, cleaning, or playing sports, right? And then the audio says this. Alan loves cooking on the weekends. He goes to the supermarket and buys lots of food. And then he goes home and he cooks his food. What's happening here? How is this a distractor? Come on, it's on the screen. Let's get someone to explain it though. Let me ask Shahani, what is this? Why is this here a distraction?
It's giving unnecessary information. It's not.
Why is it unnecessary?
Because the question was about what you do during the weekend. But within the choices from A, B, and C, but the audio is telling about cooking, and it's not on one of the choices. So
good. So guys, this happens in the exam all the time, right? You're waiting and you're ready and you're thinking fishing, cleaning, sports, and then they start talking about cooking, right? Don't let that distract you. It's coming. The answer will come later. Okay, so this is giving lots of information that you don't need. Distractor. The last one, again, these ones here, I don't know if they really are distractors. It's just what it is, okay? But the last one's a bit like this as well, inference. When you have to go beyond the words, you have to draw conclusions. You have to make conclusions, okay? Sophia, can you just read this to us?
We love to sing songs from youth. What does she love?
Okay.
Chatting with friends, remembering the past.
So this is something that we saw in the last one. What's the answer, Sophia?
Chatting with friends.
Ah, is it though?
We love to sing songs from youth. Then remembering the past.
It's remembering the past. So this is an example of inference. Sometimes you need to go beyond the words, right? Nowhere here does it say the past, does it? It doesn't say the past. It doesn't say yesterday. It doesn't say 1975, okay? But we have to make what's called an inference in this case. We have to kind of do a bit of thinking, Sophia, right?
Yes.
So this is a distractor. These ones are so hard, guys, right? So don't worry. But I think this is very useful when you're practicing listening because you just become a bit more like streetwise. Does anyone know what I mean by that, streetwise? Knowing distractors makes you a bit more streetwise. I'm going to ask someone if they can tell me what this word means. How about listen, Salah? Have you ever heard this vocab before?
No, sir, I didn't heard.
Ah, Andrea, what about you? Have you ever heard the term streetwise?
no, I didn't.
Ah, anyone here?
Although I don't know, but I can guess it. Maybe one by one.
Stink.
No, it means
Make you smart?
it means accustomed to, let's say, people trying to steal money from you, let's say, or trick you, right? To con you. Why I say this is because, let's be honest, IELTS, you know, it's a very tough exam. It's a difficult exam, so they have to try to trick you, right? They can't make it easy. Well, how are they going to trick you? Well, they're going to use hypotheticals. They're going to use a word salad. They're going to, you know, they're going to give you synonyms, crazy synonyms. They're going to give you unhelpful information that you don't want. They're going to give you something where you have to think about youth and make a connection between past, right? So, knowing your distractors makes you streetwise IELTS exam takers. What we're going to do now is go to part 3, okay? Here is part 3. Now, Ian, or John, sorry, what can we expect in part 3? Will this be an academic situation or a non-academic situation? John. Do you remember? It's getting more difficult now. So it's going to become. Can you guys help me out here?
Academic.
It's academic now, right? Now, should I expect 2 people speaking or 1 person speaking?
Two people.
More than one.
More than one. Two or three or 4. Okay.
Two or
In this
three.
case, you've got just 2. All right. So we're going to practice this now, and then we'll analyze the answers afterwards, and then hopefully you guys can say, "Oh, that was a distractor," right? In some cases. So here we go. Is everyone ready? Ready?
Section 3.
Yeah. Okay. So when you get time to read this, I will show you both pages. Okay. One important thing is that you need to read down in section 3. I think it doesn't really give you any time. Okay. So here we go.
You'll hear Melanie, a student, talking to one of her lecturers about her studies. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 27.
Okay, so have a look at this, guys. Now, I would not spend too long on these ones, right? Because this one's even harder. So just get your mind around that a little bit. Don't get too distracted by the initial questions sometimes.
Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 27.
Okay, is everyone ready? Pens ready? Paper ready? Okay.
Excuse me, Dr. Johnson. May I speak to you for a minute?
Sure, come in.
I'm Melanie Griffin. I'm taking your course in population studies.
Right. Well, Melanie, how can I help you?
I'm having a bit of trouble with a second assignment, and it's due in 12 days.
What sort of trouble are you having? Is the assignment question a problem?
Well, that's part of the problem. I've been having trouble getting hold of the books. I've been to the library several times.
Okay, so I'm just going to stop here because this is just the example one. What did she just say, guys? Having trouble?
Trouble.
I cannot borrow the books.
No, she said getting hold of. Right? So again, this is a distractor even in the kind of initial stages. Does anyone know what that means? Getting hold of? What does that mean?
She can't borrow the books.
Yeah, here it means borrow, right? But I guess it means something like acquiring, okay? Getting hold of. If we just before we start the test, what type of distractor is that? Getting hold of, borrowing.
Synonyms.
Right? Okay, the most difficult one. Okay, so just write that down. Getting hold of, that means acquiring, right? Or obtaining. Just write it on a piece of paper. Getting hold of means to obtain, to acquire. I'll just put obtain best. Okay. All right, now the test starts. Okay, do your best. We'll just do 22, 21 and 22, and then we'll talk about the distractors. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
And all the books are out.
Sounds like you should have started borrowing books a bit earlier.
Well, I had a really big assignment due in for another course, and I've been spending all my time on that, and I thought...
You might get an extension of time to finish your assignment for me?
If that's possible, but I don't know if...
Well, yes, it is possible, but extensions are normally given only for medical or compassionate reasons. Otherwise, it's really a question of organizing your study, and we don't like giving extensions to students who simply didn't plan their work properly. What did you get for your first assignment?
Okay, so you've got 21 and 22 there. The 21, I think, was fairly easy. There wasn't really any tricks there. What's the answer, guys, to 21? Can you all type it in the chat box, please? Chat box is better so I can see who's got it correct and who didn't. 21, A, B, or C? Melanie says she's not started the assignment because... You know what?
A.
Yeah, it is A. But you know what, Shanika, you've put B, but actually there is a distractor, isn't there? She did say that she did say, Shanika, she said A, because I was doing another assignment. It was a really big assignment. So I was wrong there, right? That's a great little trick though, isn't it? So she said, I am doing something like I'm doing, or I have been doing work for another course. Really big assignment. Oh, microphone off, please. Microphone off. Microphone off, please. I think that is, just be careful because we can hear all the things that are going on in your kitchen or. Okay. So most people got B, well done, but don't worry if you got A because there was this distractor. They said it was a really big assignment. Okay. So don't worry too much about that. What about 22 though? The lecturer says that the reasonable excuses for extensions are. Can anyone tell me? Put your chat box
C.
actually. Just do the chat box, guys, so I can see who says what. A, B, or C, guys? C. Good. It is C. And again, there was a synonym used, right? Does anyone know? I wrote this down. What did he actually say? Does anyone remember?
Medical reason.
Medical.
The word medical was used, wasn't it? And you have to tie that to illness. Okay, so that's just basically a synonym there. I'll just put this on here again. So in this case, there was this, what was going on here? They used words, didn't they? They used words from this answer to distract you. Let me just take a copy of this screen. Okay, it's going to get really hard now, guys, okay? They sometimes give you some easy ones at the start, but now it's going to get really, really tricky. So I'll start the audio. Oops. And they'll still be talking. Whilst they're talking, you need to be looking at this and thinking, all right? So you know that just imagine you're in an exam, you just realize, it's C. Okay, great. All right? Then the exam doesn't stop, it carries on.
I got 87%.
All right? We're going to move down to here.
Yes, you did very well, indeed. So obviously you can produce good work.
I don't think I'll need too much extra time, as long as I can get hold of some of the important references.
Well, since you did so well in your first assignment, I'm prepared to give you an extra 2 weeks for this one. So that'll mean you'll need to submit it about a month from now.
Oh, thank you.
Now, what about the read?
Oh. Has that stopped? 228. Did that stop for everyone?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I'll have to reload this, but beg your pardon. So that hadn't started yet anyway. We're coming now to the second section, all right? Now, Sophia, are you quite good at reading ahead? You know, like sometimes they're still speaking. Do you look down and reread stuff, Sophia?
Sometimes I'll be able to do, not always.
Because why do you not always do it?
Sometimes the speech itself or the conversation itself will be very in speed, or very quickly they give the reply and asking the questions, like too much confusions, like I feel.
Yeah. Okay, well, you've got to be disciplined. You've got to remember to try and stay ahead of the game, right? Because at that point, if you know that you've done
Section 4.
Question. Let's see if this works. Move on to the next bit.
Section 3.
Okay, it is tricky. Sorry that this is not playing anything.
It asks for download. Hello. Hello. Gone.
I think Sir Alan disconnected.
Oh, all the others were.
Maybe he had some technical problems.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
You know what? I always
I'm
memorize
having a technical
the
problem
options first.
I'm having a technical problem as well.
Uh-huh.
Oh, me too.
Yes, the screen says there was a problem playing this audio file. Download.
I thought it was my internet connection.
Yeah, mine as well.
The screen froze. Yeah, and so was Sir Alan. He's out.
Yeah. Are you seeing the odds icon on the screen?
Can you guys hear me now, guys?
Yes.
Sorry, okay. This does happen, okay? We know it does happen. I mean, usually the internet is so reliable, and then every now and then you have problems. So this one, for some reason, it doesn't want to let me do it. So we'll have to move on to number 4. I hope that's okay, right? Now, I haven't prepared number 4, so this will be interesting for all of us, okay? Section 4. Let's just do 5 minutes or 2 or 3 minutes and then see how many we get. And then we'll discuss the listing, okay? So here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1 sec. Can everyone hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
You'll hear a talk on the subject of the urban landscape. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40.
Okay, so check it out, guys. Try and anticipate what's coming. 31, 32, 33, 34. We need to look at all the questions as well. Maybe just try and pick a few. Predict, is it a verb, a noun, adjective coming next?
But I am unable to see anything.
Oh, great. 1 second.
Now it has disappeared again.
Can you see my screen, guys?
Yes. Now.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
All right, I'm gonna, okay, here we go.
Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I have been asked today to talk to you about the urban landscape. There are 2 major areas that I will focus on in my talk: how vegetation can have a significant effect on urban climate, and how we can better plan our cities using trees to provide a more comfortable environment for us to live in. Trees can have a significant impact on our cities. They can make a city as a whole a bit less windy, or a bit more windy if that's what you want. They can make it a bit cooler if it's a hot summer day in an Australian city, or they can make it a bit more humid if it's a dry inland city. On the local scale, that is in particular areas within the city, trees can make the local area more shady, cooler, more humid and much less windy. In fact, trees, and planting of various kinds, can be used to make city streets actually less dangerous in particular areas. How do trees do all that, you ask? Well, the main difference between a tree and a building is a tree has got an internal mechanism to keep the temperature regulated. It evaporates water through its leaves, and that means that the temperature of the leaves is never very far from our own body temperature. The temperature of a building surface on a hot sunny day can easily be 20 degrees more than our temperature. Trees, on the other hand, remain cooler than buildings because they sweat. This means that they can humidify the air and cool it, a property which can be exploited to improve the local climate.
Okay.
Trees can also help break the force of winds. The reason that high buildings make it windier at ground level is that as the wind goes higher and higher...
Okay, I think there's a good place to stop. Let's try and analyze our answers here. 31, ways of planning our... Anyone tell me?
Environment.
Cities.
Peace.
Environment.
The effective 2 ways of planning our... I'm not so sure. Let me just check what it says here, because I heard something different from all of you guys. Let me see. Even for native speakers, it can be hard sometimes. Let me just check. It was cities or environment. Okay. So you guys can have either cities or environment, number 1. What about number 2? Shani, number 2.
They can make cities more or less windy.
More or less windy. I got windy as well. Good. So far, microphone off, please. So far, this was quite easy. There wasn't a lot of distractors, okay, in this bit. She was talking quite fast, but there really wasn't that much difficult stuff going on. John, did you hear 33? To me, that was fairly easy. What was it?
Humid.
It was humid, right? So she goes quite fast through all the stats. It was easy to follow because there were she used a lot of the words here. I think even 34 was fairly easy. Sophia, did you get 34?
More shady.
Shady, good. That's what I got as well. What about 35? Shanika, did you get that? 35? Less.
Dangerous.
Now, what did everyone get for this? Say what you got, guys.
Dangerous.
Dangerous.
Also.
Good. We all got dangerous. Good. I thought that might have tricked you there, but you all were okay because she did say less something else. What about number 36? Everyone together. What did you get for 36?
Leaves.
Leaves. Fantastic. All right. So far it was so good, but then something interesting happened. What happened here? Anyone tell me?
A long explanation about the mechanism.
There was a long passage with no relevant information, right?
Yes.
The distractor. He was stressing me out, so it must have stressed you guys out. Did it stress you out?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
because you all thought, oh no, I don't know where I am.
Yes.
I've lost my place.
Yes, I thought I was.
That's too.
Okay, so don't get stressed. Stay focused, all right? Most of you did seem to do really, really well with that, okay? Now, I'm going to move back onto the Word document and I'll start to wrap this class up. But we do have a second class, of course, and that's speaking. But let me just come back to this. Microphones off, please, guys. So that last one, we did do a distractor. What type of distractor was that last one? Can anyone tell me? We've got it here already.
Unuseful.
Unhelpful information.
Yeah? Good. And microphone's off. Just 1 second. We could put a little note here. This is a little note. In part 4, sometimes that makes you think something, doesn't it? It makes you think, or it can make you think. What can it make you think, Sophia? You have lost your place. Okay, so be careful about that. Don't get stressed. Stay focused. All right. Now, there was one. I said there wasn't, but I want to finish the class by just quickly talking about a new type of distractor. All right. So I don't know if you remember the very first question. Shanika, could you come on the line, please? Are you there, Shanika?
No.
So what happened for you, Shanika, with this one, right, is that you heard the word, what words did you hear that made you think it was B?
Big assignment.
Yeah, it was big assignment, okay. So how did they trick Shanika here? Thank you, microphone off, guys. What did they do? What's the technique?
I heard on the last part of the sentence.
Yeah, but they used Microphone off for 1 second. They used keywords, didn't they, guys? They used keywords from what?
Both answers together.
Well, it wasn't, there was only one answer, but they used keywords
From the audio.
An option
One wrong answer.
that wasn't correct, right? So they'll say, let's just make a little example just to finish this class. It might be something like, what is Alan's favorite cheese? I don't know, favorite sport, okay? Imagine that's the question here, right? And you've got the options basketball, or at the moment, my favorite sport is rugby. I don't know if anyone's watching the Rugby World Cup. Is anyone watching the Rugby World Cup in Japan? Quite interesting. Okay, so imagine you have this. What is Alan's favorite sport, though? And it says something like this. Alan, a second, playing rugby. Oops, playing rugby. How about this? Watching basketball. Okay, what is Alan's favorite hobby? Okay. Now imagine it says something like, the audio would say something like this, wouldn't it? I'm just trying to make a very simple one for you guys. Alan enjoys, right, watching many things on the TV, right? But his favorite thing to do is play rugby, right? Like basketball. So I'm just trying to give you an example so you can study after the class. How is this working? Can anyone explain this to me? I'm going to call this the keywords distractor. I need someone to summarize this. Look at my example, right? The answer is this one, right? Why might someone think the answer is not B, but actually A? Listen, Salah, could you help us?
The word watching.
Yeah, right. So watching is here, watching is here, and basketball is here.
Yeah.
So I think, oh, it must be basketball. But the answer is not basketball. Okay, good. So I'm going to call that distractor, guys, a keywords distractor. All right? Okay, so what we're going to do now is we'll take a break, and then we'll take 5 minutes, and then we'll come back and we'll start the speaking class. All right? And we'll be doing something completely different. We'll be doing IELTS speaking part 1 and 2. All right? You don't have to leave the class if you don't want. You can just stay here. Take 5 minutes though, go get a cup of tea, something like that, and relax. And I'll speak to you guys in 5 minutes time. Thank you very much. Speak to you soon. See you in 5 minutes.
See you, sir. Bye.